Hi everyone, today we are starting with a new series of lecture side by side as syndromes. The first one is the Parry-Robin malformation. It has been given many other names like Parry-Robin syndrome, Parry-Robin anomalies or other like Parry-Robin complex. So today in this series of lecture we have to know what is the Parry-Robin malformation. See, with the name it is clear that Parry-Robin malformation. Just take the first word of the every name, you will come to know about a triad that is associated with the Parry-Robin. This is P for the palate cleft, R for the respiratory obstruction due to the glossoptitis, and M here for the micrognathia or the retrognathia. This Parry-Robin malformation was given after the name of a scientist, dental surgeon, that is Parry-Robin, and in the year 1950. See, what is glossoptitis? You all know glosso means tongue and optitis means enlargement of the tongue or the inflamed tongue. The tongue is larger than the normal size and the tongue is causing obstruction to the airways. Okay, means the tongue has increased its size and it is causing the obstruction to the airways. And we till now discussed about the three triad that is associated with the cleft palate, like with the Parry-Robin syndrome, like cleft palate, glossoptitis and micrognathia. It is generally asked in your Viva and NEET PG examination. Now coming to the etiology. See, the etiology of the Parry-Robin syndrome is very crucial. See, there are three etiology. The first one is the mechanical theory, the second one is the neurological theory, and the fourth one is the rhombocephalic theory. In the mechanical theory, it is one of the most accepted theory, and in this condition, first, when the baby is inside the womb of a mother, that is in the gestation, the mandible hyperplasia in the 17th to 11th week of gestation is seen. That is, they keep the tongue in the high in the oral cavity, means tongue ऊपर की तरफ रखेगा क्योंकि mandible का hypoplasia हो गया है. So the tongue in the oral cavity is above. So there will be a cleft palate, U-shaped cleft palate will be formed because of the improper or not able to closure of the palatal two part. You all know there are two parts in a palate and that come and join with each other and then forms the palate. So the palate is not closed because to there the hard palate, the tongue is just attached because of the hypoplasia of the mandible. So the palate is not able to close and lead to the U-shaped cleft palate is formed. One another thing in the mechanical theory is also told that there is oligohydramnios, and that is the lack of amniotic fluid. It can also be one of the reason for the cleft palate formation. Now see the picture how the cleft palate is formed in the case of Parry-Robin syndrome. You all are seeing here that this cleft palate has formed because the tongue was attached here. Okay. Now the second theory, that is neurological theory. So in the neurological theory, due to the delayed hypoglossal nerve conduction, this has happened, and in the rhombocephalic, this neuroregulation theory, disorganization of rhombocephalus have occurred. So these are the two other theory, not so important. Now come to the clinical picture. It is a heterogeneous birth defect. Prevalence is 1 in 85,000 birth and male to female ratio is 1:1. All the three triad that we have discussed, that is cleft lip in the 14 to 91% cases, U-shaped palate is seen. Micrognathia, that is 91% cases seen. In the micrognathia, that mandible will be a small obtuse gonial angle posteriorly located mandible, means the location of the mandible will be slightly posterior. In the mandibular hypoplasia resolves by the 5 to 6 years of the age. Then the glossoptitis is seen, that is 85% cases. We have seen the glossoptitis, and that is rarely bifid ovula, and the occult submucous cleft has been seen. When the glossoptitis and micrognathia are together, it causes a very severe respiratory distress, that is airways obstruction, and that lead to the peri-Robin malformation, and it causes difficulty in the feeding and difficulty in the eating, swallowing, etc. to the infant. So there is veropharyngeal insufficiency also in the case of peri-Robin syndrome. There are other problems also associated with the peri-Robin syndrome, like otitis media, hearing loss, nasal deformity. There can be a skeletal malformation also, like cyanodactyly, polydactyly, cledodactyly, hyperextensibility of the joint, and oligodactylity of the upper limb. There can be CNS disorder also, like language delay. There can be epilepsy. Okay, so neurological developmental delay can also be there. There can be hypotonia, and hydrocephalus can also be observed in the peri-Robin syndrome. So this was all about the clinical feature and the etiology, different theories related to the peri-Robin syndrome. Now come to the treatment plan. We need different multidisciplinary approach for the treatment of the peri-Robin syndrome, and the last, we need to go for the surgical correction of the syndrome, like cleft palate we need to surgically give, and either we need to give a prosthesis there. So this was all about the peri-Robin syndrome. Hope this video was helpful to you. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel for the notes and more updates. The link of given in the description for Telegram and Instagram, where you can contact me. Even WhatsApp you can contact me. The link of all has been given in our description. Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel, Ocean of Dentistry. Thank you. That's all for today.